I grabbed this towel rod for the best kitchen hack. I put one end of the towel rack on and marked where the other side of the towel rack needed to be. For this side, I used drywall anchors to ensure a strong hold. Then I grabbed some black shower curtain rings, placed them on the towel rack, and hung my favorite cutting boards and frying pan.
I picked up these containers at Dollar Tree. They can be found in the travel section. The first thing I'm going to do is use some nice and strong super glue or E6000 and attach the magnets to the bottom of each one of the containers. While that's drying, I'm going to upcycle an old picture frame. On the back of this frame, I am going to add some magnets. Now I'm going to use these glittery black stickers I found just to put the word spices on the bottom of the frame. So I'm using a Sharpie to write the name of spices that I use most often right on top. Now it's time to fill up the jars. I'm going to put up the frame first where I want it, and then I can just stick the jars right on the fridge inside the frame.
Today's project starts with a few end tables that you can pick up from your local Walmart or IKEA, and they're simple to put together. Put a wheel on the bottom to make this table mobile. Get a nut that will fit on the end of those threads, and we've got to glue it to the bottom of the leg. But we want to make sure we add a washer to give it some strength, as we're going to use a 2-part epoxy. We're going to take the epoxy and put it around the edge of the bolt next to the washer, and on the bottom of our table, turn it on its side, and we've got to glue a piece of strip of wood on the bottom. Go ahead and just put some around the hole on the bottom of the leg, and we're going to take that little invention we did with the washer and the nut and stick it right on there. Make sure it gets nice and secure. That allows us now to screw the wheel into the bottom of the leg. Gotta join these 2 tables together. Once you get it all on there on all 4 corners, go ahead and stick the other table right on top. Once it dries up in about 20 minutes, it's super strong and it's time to paint it. Went ahead and put these 3 boards in for the base, and they sit there really nice. It also gives some strength, but it's time to finish the top. I want to use some contact paper.
On our countertop, grab a curtain rod and 2 heavy-duty command hooks. Measure the placement for the 2 command hooks and hang the rod at your desired height. Arrange everyday items like K-cups, mugs, pictures, or plants using S-hooks on the rod.
Are you tired of those overcrowded cabinets? Grab you 2 cake pans from Dollar Tree and a bag of marbles. Take one of those other cake pans, put it on top, and look at it spin. It's perfect for organizing spices, salts, and peppers.
You want to make sure that you have a nice clean surface. Rubbing alcohol is a good option. You'll need some sort of stencil and line that up and then just press down firmly. And it's really important here that you maintain the best seal possible. You'll want to take some painter's tape and put it around the surrounding edges. Now that you have your stencil in place, it's time to apply the etching cream. I typically do about a 5-minute time to allow it to sit, and then we'll rinse it off.
Run it under a stream of warm water and just allow the cream to gently rinse off.
Once you have the etching cream all rinsed off, you can go ahead and remove the stencil and the tape. But we're going to take it one step further, and I'm going to be using this Rub and Buff product to add some color to it.
How about underneath the kitchen sink? There is nothing worse than trying to get a bag to reline the trash can. What a mess. Grab a curtain rod, grab the garbage bag, mark it, cut it right there at the mark. Put the ends back on to keep it safe, put the brackets on, and look at that.
Let's start organizing inside your cabinets. Press this onto the cabinet door in this case and hold for 10 seconds. Now, your oven mitts, folders, and silicone mats are ready to be stored. If you ever change your mind, you can easily remove the hanger simply by pushing up and taking it off. I chose to replace the first hanger with this metal hook. I replaced the oven mitts with a cooling rack and a pan guard that fit just as perfect in this spot. Are you always losing your measuring utensils? Simply place a clear command hook on the outside of an airtight container, and you'll always have your measuring utensils right at hand. I use mine for baking supplies. Simply take a large command hook and press it all the way to the left of the cabinet door. Then take your paper towel and measure to size. Firmly press down on the command hook, securing it to the opposite side of the cabinet door. Take a piece of string and run it through the middle of the paper towel holder and simply hang it on your 2 new command hooks. It's as easy as that. Already have a place to store your paper towels? Simply take off the paper towel roll from your 2 command hooks and replace it with a plastic shopping bag. Here's a simple storage solution for all your recyclable bags. If you didn't already know, the little tabs on the side of your saran wrap or tinfoil are meant to be pressed in to lock the roll in place. Using a command hook, simply stick the prong through the hole and press it firmly on your surface. I chose the side of my refrigerator.
To start, you'll need 3 Parsons end tables, and I purchased mine at Walmart. I put 2 of the tables together. It was really easy, all you had to do was screw in the legs. For the 3rd table, I didn't use the legs, and I drilled the holes just a little bit bigger so I could fit rolling wheels in them. Use some E6000 or glue of your choice, and put it on the bottom of the legs on 2 of your tables. Stack your tables on top of the tabletop with the wheels.
Are you looking for a cool, simple design for those knives to hang on? Take a strip of oak and some magnets, and we're going to use what's called a Forstner bit. Make sure it's deep enough for the magnets to sit in, but no deeper than that. Take some of that wood glue and place it all over the oak. We're going to glue a second strip. Use some clamps to hold it down. We're going to let that dry for a little bit. Are you a little unnerd when it comes time for snack time? Always trying to go through the bin trying to find a solution? Take a shoe hanger and we're going to put it on the back of a pantry door or a cabinet. All you need is some simple hooks. You can then take the shoe holder and put it up, and it holds your snacks easy to get to.
When I came across this labeling hack, I just had to share it.
Type out names for labels that will keep you organized. Print out your label list on plain, ordinary white paper. Cut the words apart, leaving a little bit of white space surrounding the text. Now, take some clear packing tape and lay pieces of tape over each word. It helps if you put a coin on the end of the tape so you can lift it easily later on. With the edge of a debit or credit card, press against the taped word and rub vigorously across the top of the tape. Trim off any excess tape with scissors, then simply drop it in a bowl of water. Make sure it is completely submerged and let it soak for a couple of minutes. Once it has soaked for a bit, lift it from the water and start to rub across the back of the word with your fingers. The paper pulp will eventually come off from the tape, but the text will still be there.
Take an X-Acto knife and remove the lid flaps. Take hemp rope and a hot glue gun to begin wrapping the rope around the box. Take twine and begin gluing it to the perimeter of the bottom of the box. Take balsa wood oval or circle shapes and paint them with black paint. Print words to be displayed on the side of the box. Cut them out and use pencil to cover the back of the paper. Then trace the font on the balsa wood. Use a chalkboard pen or a white paint pen to cover the pencil traced font. Use a hot glue gun to attach the labels to the side of the box.
So we're going to start in my office, and this is a cabinet where I store a lot of my supplies. So the first thing I've done is gutted the entire cabinet, and now I'm just going to wipe it out. So I'm going to keep it real right now and show you everything that I just gutted from that cabinet. And I'm going to go through it all and remove anything that I don't want, throw it away, give it to Goodwill, and I'm only going to keep the things that I really need. Now, shelves are adjustable, but you always want to take one of your tallest things and place it where you're going to want it to be in your cabinet. So for me, one of my tallest things might be my iPad case, or another example is my label maker. One of the things I'm a big fan of is utilizing space. So these shelves are sold at the dollar store, Walmart, and other places. But it's a way to take something tall like this and gain more storage, whether it's your pantry, your office, anywhere that has a big, deep shelf, or a tall shelf, I should say. You want to put one of these in so you can gain extra space. Now, using dollar store baskets, I'm just going to organize some of my supplies together. So for example, this one is going to be all of my travel cords and chargers. So I'm going to place all of these together inside a basket, and then this will be one of the things that goes on a shelf. In this dollar store basket, I'm going to place some of my phone cases. In this basket, I'm going to place some stamps and my address labels. Now I'm going to start placing some of these in order. So I'm going to slide one basket in like that. I'm going to place maybe this basket here. I'm going to slide this one on the end. And this last basket I'm going to place in front like so. So now I've utilized, I don't get to my cases very often, so that's why they're in the back, but you could definitely organize this however you feel. So let's go ahead and do the baskets for the top. So in this first basket, I'm going to place my paper clips, some of the backup paper clips that I have, as well as some of my binder clips, and then my pencil sharpener and my whiteout. In this basket, I'm going to place more tool type things like my tape measure, my tape, my hole punch. I have a mini flashlight that I always have in case of emergencies. And then now I'm going to go ahead and place these up here on top like so. And I could probably move this essential oil up here. That gives me more room on either end. All I have to be careful of right here are these hinges because you want your things to be able to slide in and out. And as you can see here, I do have some magnets, so I do have to lift over those, but it's really no problem to get this stuff in and out. Here this cabinet is all finished, and I'm thrilled with how it turned out, and I've got a little room to even spare. Let's move on to the next project. Another thing I don't love under my desk are all of these cords. So I'm going to talk about a way you can camouflage them with dollar store bins. They sell these collapsible bins at the dollar store. You can find them at other stores as well. You open them up and you place the little cardboard base inside. Now the edges are a little flimsy, so I'm going to show you what I do to reinforce them. I buy another big, large bin that is hard. Now sometimes it's hard to find things that are going to match, but I place this bin inside the basket. This reinforces the outside, so it looks nice here, but this is going to keep things from moving on the inside. So first I straightened out all of my cords and made sure that they're all organized. And now what I do is I take the cord surge protector and place it inside the basket with the cords inside, and it blends in a little bit better with the background, or at least I don't have cords hanging all over. Now I'm going to try to take care of those cords that are dangling next. So they make these cord command hooks, and they're for the garage. So I placed my command strip here on my windowsill, which will be hidden behind my desk. And I'm just going to place the cords in like so, so it'll pull them up across the back and you won't see them all other than a strip right here hanging down. So here's what the bottom looks like now. You can't see the cords over here. They're all tied together. I did use a little Velcro strip. I'll get in a little closer for you to see that, and pulled them down into this basket. Now the basket's blue. I think down the road I will change it to white if I can find a big white basket, and that will blend in a little bit better in this room. Next, we're gonna focus on my drawer, and my keyboard goes here so I can sit more ergonomically correct at my computer. And I have things in here that I'd like to have access to, but I don't want them flying all around. So I bought in this dollar store bin, and this is just my pens and pencils and things I grab all the time. So I'm gonna set that there. Next, I'm gonna place the next basket down, and this one's gonna hold all of my flash drives. Yes, I have a lot of them, I know. And then some other little key things that I grab on a regular basis, and a USB cord, because I grab that pretty frequently as well. My last basket that I'm gonna put in here is my Post-it note basket, because I'm always using my Post-it notes here. And I do have quite a few of them, but again, everybody uses things for different reasons. I use these tabs a lot, so I'm gonna just set those in there. I also use these smaller Post-it notes, so I'm just kind of organizing them in here so I can grab what I need when I need it. So now I actually have room for something else. I'll just slide these over like this. And actually what I'm gonna use in this little space are these dollar store dusters that work really great for cleaning your computers off. I'm just gonna place those right there. And that's my drawer, and I just organized it with dollar store baskets. Next, we're gonna hit my laundry room. Next, I'm gonna be using a few dollar store trash bins. So this is my first dollar store trash bin, and I'm gonna place it towards the back of my dryer. So my washer and dryer are front loaders, but you could do this near on the floor if you have a top loader. Sometimes, like my kitchen's right over there, and you get a dirty washcloth that needs to be washed. Instead of running it all the way upstairs to our laundry, we just keep our hand towels and our washcloths here. So it's like a small laundry bin that fits nicely right there. Next up, I have my second laundry bin, laundry basket, my trash basket, my second trash basket, and I'm just putting a little bag in it. And this is a quick trash can for my lint. So a lot of times we remove our lint. Sometimes we have a trash can near us, but sometimes we don't. But this is another way. So now these two sit really nicely right next to each other. And now the last thing is I use these drying balls. They're wool laundry balls, and they replace fabric sheets or those dryer sheets. And they, of course, they're round, so they would roll all over. So I need something to put those in. So I bought a little dollar store basket, and I place those right here. So now when I'm at my dryer, I have my laundry basket, click, and then I've got my trash can and for lint, and then my dryer balls are right here ready to grab. So very convenient for the laundry room. Now, if you still use dryer sheets, I've got a hack for you. So at the dollar store, they sell these little clear pouches that have magnetic backs, and these are in the teaching section at Dollar Tree. What these are great for is you can stick them to your washer and dryer, and you can place your dryer sheets right in here. So all you've got to do is pull them out and stick them in the dryer. This is probably one of my all-time most useful and favorite hacks. So again, using one of these dollar store cloth baskets, I place the little piece in the bottom, and then I've bought the plastic one that goes right inside. But before I do that, I'm going to add a bag to it. I'm going to place it inside, and this one should fit all the way inside like so. This is the back seat of my car, and this is the floor. Now, anyone that has kids knows there's always trash. So this is my trash can for my car. It fits right in between the two kids, and then any snacks, any food, any trash goes right in here rather than floating all over my car. This next hack can work in so many places of your home. We're gonna start with these suction cups, and we're gonna place them against the side like so. Next, you're gonna take your dollar store basket and you're gonna place it in here, and it's gonna sit right there onto the hooks. And you can adjust these. They are really easy to bend, so you can adjust them however you want. And then next you do things like maybe store your sponges in there for easy grabbing. Maybe you wanna put your brushes in there for scrubbing your dishes. But these will work in so many places in your home. These suction cups are great for so many things. You can put them on your fridge, as I said. You could also put them on your oven and then use them to hold your pot holders close. You can put them on your backsplash or your tile and use them to hang utensils. You can hang sponges from them. You can hang your apron from them. So one little item from the dollar store, so many uses. We run up and down our stairs every day, and one of the other things I like to use are these handled baskets. You can find them at Dollar Tree or you can find them at Walmart, and you just place them right there. They fit really nicely into your stair space, and then as you find things that need to go upstairs or downstairs, you place those into the basket, and then the next time you need to go upstairs, you grab the basket and take it with you. I often set one for each family member on these steps. I used to color code them for them when they were little with their favorite colors, and then they were excited to help bring their baskets upstairs when they went up.
Grab mini clear plastic dessert bowls from the Dollar Tree. Paint the inside of the bowl completely with black chalk paint. Stack and use hot glue to adhere 4 wood blocks together, then adhere the painted bowl on top. Grab a wire trash basket from the Dollar Tree. Then I spray painted the inside and the outside of the basket of metallic silver and cut a small hole in the bottom center of the basket. I'm attaching wire to a napkin ring and floating it toward the middle of the basket. I got these silver zip ties that I'm attaching to the bottom of the wire basket. I'm hooking on more silver zip ties to complete the bottom section. Then hook on some white zip ties towards the middle and the top once the bottom section is completed. Then adhere a few feathers for extra texture.
Pick up 4 doormats and duct tape from Dollar Tree. Tape 2 doormats together with duct tape. Make sure they are lined up on all of the edges. Attach the other 2 doormats to create one larger mat. Secure with duct tape across the outer and inner edges. Add duct tape strips all across one side of the mat, covering it completely. Take fabric of choice and wrap it around the large mat. Cut the edges of the fabric to make it about 3 to 4 inches wider than the perimeter of the mat. Fold around the mat and use a hot glue gun to secure the fabric in place. Take Scotchgard and spray a couple of layers on the mat outdoors to add a protective waterproof layer.
I grabbed 2 of these wood hangers. I'm pulling off the rope. I'm going to cover the front of the wood piece with the shelf liner, and then I'm just going to fold the edges over the sides. Grab 4 picture frames. These square ones work best. And then use a pliers to pull out the fasteners. Use some hot glue to attach 2 blocks to the bottom of the frame. Then glue the second frame to the other side of the blocks. You're going to do this twice with a total of 4 frames. Now we have all the pieces to assemble our shelf.
Grab 2 bamboo cutting boards, 4 glass jars, 2 napkin holders from the Dollar Tree. Add some strong adhesive glue to the 2 metal bars on the bottom of the napkin holder and adhere it to the center of the bamboo cutting board. Then add some more strong adhesive glue and then adhere the glass jars on each side. Allow everything to set and dry overnight and add some wall adhesive strips to the back.
On one of my most recent trips to Dollar Tree, I came across these glass bowls, and as well I spotted these cool margarita glasses. I'm going to take some E6000 and I'm going to spread it around on the bottom of the margarita glass. And then I'm also going to apply some E6000 on the bottom of one of the glass bowls. Then I'm going to place it on top. I'm going to leave this to set. In the meantime, I'm going to take my second glass bowl and I'm going to take some E6000 and I'm going to take an old drawer pull and then place that on top.
Grab some microfiber dust pads and grab some non-slip rug underlays from the Dollar Tree. Lay out and overlap multiple rug underlays. Use tape or rug tape to attach the rug underlays together to make it larger. Grab a microfiber dust pad and flip it over to the bottom and completely cover it with glue and adhere it to the rug underlay. Keep continuing the process to add glue until the rug underlay is completely covered. Grab another microfiber dust pad and cut some square shape to fill in some of the bare areas. And then use some scissors to trim off any of the rug underlay that's showing.
Grab a glass bowl from the dollar store. I'm going to place it upside down on a wood round. Then I'm going to surround the bowl with wood beads. I found these strings of beads at the dollar store. Place a bead of glue around the bowl and then attach the beads. Once the glue is completely dry, I can pull the bowl out of the center. Now I picked up another smaller bowl at Dollar Tree. I am going to place this on the bottom of the wood round to create a pedestal. Now I'm going to grab a larger wood bead and just fill the holes with some air dry clay to create a solid round ball. Give it a coat of spray paint. With everything dry, I'm gluing the larger bead to the bottom of the glass bowl. Then I can just place this bowl right on top that pedestal.
Today's project starts with a pool noodle. We're going to take a piece of duct tape and use that to hold it in place. Once we got our 3 rings together, we're going to stack them up. Once I get that, I'm going to cut some more pool noodles and they're going to stack inside. We need them to be level with the top. Start on the outside and work your way to the end. Now you're going to start on one end and go ahead and slice your tape and put it on the bottom. Go across the 3 pool noodles, across the top, down the bottom. We're actually going to need to cover the whole thing in duct tape because we're gonna need to apply some hot glue to it. And then right in the middle, I'm gonna put a first dab of hot glue. I'm gonna take this rope right here, this cotton rope, and go ahead and put it on there.
Grab a wire mesh trash can from the dollar store. Take a remote-controlled puck light. These are available at Amazon and attached to the inside bottom of the trash can. Now flip the trash can upside down and hook one end of the chain to one side of the basket bottom. Next, take a length of greenery garland and cut it into roughly 12-inch pieces. Now take some florist wire and start to wire the garland pieces to the top.
We are going to start with 7 of these bowls. You're also going to need some E6000. Just basically go around. You're going to place it on top. We're going to do this again. So I'm going to give these a little bit of time to cure. I'm going to be taking my E6000 and I'm going to go around the top of this, stack it on top, and we're going to do this one more time. I am using Dixie Belle Vintage Duck Egg Chalk Paint. So I'm actually going to use E6000 for this step. Line it up. And then we're gonna let that sit until it dries. And we are gonna trace around the inside of the hole that I created. You actually will not need to paint the underside, just the sides and the top. I'm gonna start with the bottom part, tilt that up. So we are going to take a solar light, placing it over, put the top part of our solar light, and it's gonna nestle right in.
Next time you're at the dollar store, pick up a couple of charger plates and a margarita glass. Start by spray painting the charger plates. I went back to the dollar store and picked up some melamine plates. I spray painted these and let them dry completely. Take one of the charger plates and with a hot glue gun, glue 4 beads equidistant apart in the center of the plate. Put some hot glue onto the tops of those wood beads and press the bottom of the second charger plate on top. I took each of the wood beads and with a little hot glue, glued them side by side at a slight angle into the crevice between the 2 charger plates. Remember that margarita glass? Apply a ring of hot glue onto the bottom of the glass and toward the edge. Press the glass to the center of the beaded charger plates until it's secure. Then apply a thin band of hot glue to the rim of the glass. Take the smaller beaded plates and press them onto the center of the glass.
Take a bowl and cover the bottom in plastic wrap. Next, use a sponge brush and Mod Podge. Cover the entire bowl base with Mod Podge on the plastic wrap. Take rope and begin from the center of the base and wind it around towards the outer part of the bowl. Once completely dry, remove rope layer from the bowl and any excess plastic wrap.
Grab a hula hoop and fairy lights to make this outdoor display. So I'm going to start by spray painting them black. I opted for this really long strand of lights from Dollar Tree. It's on a wire, so it's really easy to wrap around the hula hoop. I'm going to hang these in my gazebo to add a little light. I'm using zip ties to attach these to the rail along the top of my gazebo.
Take a hula hoop and some fairy lights. With a hot glue gun and the twinkle lights, create icicles with each strand and glue them to the hula hoop. Grab a garland and some other greenery from Dollar Tree and begin hot gluing them to the top and around the circumference of the hula hoop. Take macrame cord or rope and hot glue 4 strands of the same length around the hula hoop. Knot them together at the top and add more rope to hang.
Head down to Five Below and grab you one of them inexpensive rugs. But first, why don't we grab some hula hoops? We're gonna need to spray paint those your favorite color. Once you give that some time to dry, bring it on inside. Set your hula hoop down and we need 2 pieces of board. I'm going to mark it exactly where I want to cut it on the hula hoop. Once we got those cut, bring them back inside. We've got to put some hot glue down, just temporary, to hold the wood in place on the bottom hula hoop. Go ahead and place the top one on. You're going to make sure it's matched perfectly to the one on the bottom. Pre-drill it and use a screw that will go through the hula hoop into the wood. Once we do that, let's lay that rug out that we got at Five Below. We're going to take the hula hoop and lay it out on there. Take a black marker and go ahead and mark around the hula hoop. We want to cut it right down that black marker, lay it out, and again, it's time to grab that hot glue. We're going to go ahead and put this down. It's going to tack it down for us. And then it's time to go ahead on the front and put some hooks on.
Here we have a child's hula hoop that we picked up at the dollar store. So in order to secure our flowers, we're going to have to work in a pool noodle. And all we're going to do is cut through one side of the pool noodle. So what we're going to do is open it up and work it right inside the hula hoop. And we're going to circulate the pool noodle all the way around. So once you get all the way around, you're going to notice that we have a little spot missing. We're going to cut into a second pool noodle and do the same exact process. We can just take some tape and we're going to secure the 2 pieces together. Now I just have some white satin ribbon. To secure it, I'm going to use a couple floral pins and I'm going to add some hot glue to the ends to really make sure it's nice and permanent. Now what we can do is start wrapping this. Now it's time to enhance this, and all we're going to do is snip off each individual stem. I added a generous amount of hot glue, and all we're going to do is just lift up the ribbon and poke it right in. Up next, we have some dogwood flowers. Now I have this hanging foliage, so we're going to take it, add a little bit of hot glue, just working it underneath the ribbon. To hang this up, I'm going to use some of our wire.
I'm laying down 6 21-inch hula hoops on some butcher block paper. Each hoop is getting spray painted in black. I applied several coats to ensure all areas were well covered. I'm going to join 4 hoops to the first hoop, attaching evenly on all 4 sides. I'm attaching the first hoop loosely with a black zip tie. 3 more hula hoops are being attached to the first hula hoop, creating an even pattern of 5. A 6th hula hoop is being placed on top of an exterior hula hoop and attached with a zip tie on its left side only. Each hula hoop on each side is being positioned vertically, then attached to the top hoop to create a cube shape. I'm attaching some lightweight twine to one side of the top hula hoop with double knots. I'm stringing the twine across the top hula hoop in random places to create a spiderweb effect. Keeping the twine as tight as possible is the key. Now I'm positioning the wood round onto the twine.
Grab a pool noodle and a hula hoop for this front porch decoration. I'm going to use a utility knife to slice the pool noodle vertically. This is going to allow me to open up the pool noodle and slip it around the hula hoop. I'm going to need about 1.5 noodles to cover this hula hoop. Now I'm going to grab some duct tape and just secure the pieces together. So I'm going to grab some burlap ribbon and just wrap it around the pool noodle. Now that this is all covered in burlap, I've got these little pockets created. This is going to help me place some greenery on here nice and easy. I have these big stems and I can tuck these into the folds of the burlap. Now I'm just going to grab some floral wire and secure this. For a little ambiance, I'm going to wrap some fairy lights all around and intertwine them within the leaves. I've got a plastic planter that's filled with some rocks on the bottom. I'm going to put a paint stick in here just to kind of hold it up a little bit. So I'm going to use a few zip ties to secure the wreath that I just made to the planter.
What I did was I laid out some cardboard, spray painted it a couple of times to make both boards the exact same length. You're gonna take your first hula hoop that's already painted, and you're gonna set it on top of the boards. Then what we're gonna do is drill through all 4 corners here. You're gonna put one of your hooks in with it. Make sure it's facing up and you'll screw it through it. We're gonna do the same thing over here. Now what we're gonna do is turn it around and do the other side. We're gonna take a little bit of dab of glue right next to the screw, take the rope and just gently wrap it around the loop.
You're not going to believe what I did with mini lights and a hula hoop. I spray painted one side of the hula hoop green, I let it dry, flipped it over, and spray painted the other side. Once dry, I used a green zip tie to attach faux vine greenery to the hula hoop. Next, I tied jute around the hula hoop and strung it across the hoop to the other side. I wrapped it around a couple of times and then strung it back and tied it where I started. I did this 3 more times, evenly dividing the sections of where I tied the jute and crossing at the same spot in the center. With each of the long ends, I tied them to either side of the ring of the mason jar. Next, I glued jute weaving around the battery pack of mini string lights, wrapped the lights around, and then I stuffed it in each mason jar. I attached the mason jars to the ring and hung it all up.
Just what I need for my latest project, hula hoops. Take some metallic paint that's made for plastics. I'm going to paint these gold. Now you're going to want to get some kind of a clear sealer spray with a light coat of the glaze. Right here, we're going to drill a hole in each side. I'm going to put one hoop inside the other and try and line up my holes where I have drilled. And I'm going to go outside and push all the way through, and then I'm going to push it through the next one. So I have it through 2 hoops. There we go. I have it through all 3, and then before it slips back off, I'm going to put a nut on that. And when I paint these, this will get painted also. I'm going to take a dollar store decorative cake tray and put a small hole in it. It's on high temperature, and I'm just going to put it right in the middle of there. And that is probably all we need. And now I'm going to try and put this right over top of that. Take some Gorilla Clear Grip contact adhesive to secure the plate right here to my hula hoop. And I'm going to put a generous amount wherever these hoops meet. I have just hung it from my garage door with some wire. So now I can go to work on the easy part. The construction of this was the hard part.
I grabbed this big hula hoop from Five Below. So I'm gonna take this first one, place it there. We're gonna do the same thing to a second one, and we're gonna place this in an opposite motion. We're gonna place this on either end again. Just take our zip tie, and we're gonna keep the pointy end towards the surface. We're gonna just snip off our ribbon, and now it's time to create the main portion of our bow. So this is non-wired ribbon. It is a little bit different to use, as it doesn't hold its shape, but after making about 3 to 5 loops on either side, we're gonna have the perfect bow, and that is good enough for me. Let's finish our final loop. To secure our bow, we're gonna use a piece of wire. Take our tails that we pre-cut and just tuck them underneath our bow. Twist it secure. We can just secure that right on top of the zip tie and tie that wire together. We're gonna just lift up the greenery we've already worked in, tuck it underneath, and use another zip tie to keep that in place.
I went to the store and grabbed some hula hoops along with black matte spray paint. I took the hoops out to my garden and decided to attach them to my house using small poultry staples. I then slipped a piece of pipe cleaner through the hole and attached the hoop, twisting the ends together. I used black electrical tape to join the hoops together. To attach the plant, I carefully moved each stem, bundling some together and following the curve of the hoop.
Pick up a large and small flower pot to create this beautiful outdoor display. I'm starting with a really large pot, and I'm going to stack some smaller flower pots up in the center. Once I have the right height, now I can start adding some potting soil. In that soil, I'm going to plant some really colorful annuals. Now I'm going to take this white ceramic pot. I want to make sure that the hole is sealed in the middle. I'm just going to set this right on top of those pots that I stacked on the inside, and I'm going to fill it with water. Now I'm going to add this solar fountain that I found on Amazon. As soon as the sun hits this, the water is going to start bubbling up.
I ran to my local Walmart and grabbed 2 matching pots, one bigger than the other. First thing I did was level an area in the front that would be in direct sunlight and put the bigger pot in first. Next, I grabbed an old bucket upside down into the bigger pot. Make sure that it's centered. Next, I grabbed a flower pot base. I wanted to make sure that I turned it with the lip side down. We're going to take the smaller pot that we got and place it on the center of that pot. I want to grab some local rocks and place them around the edge. Next, I got out a new solar-powered fountain that I bought for $10. It floats in the water because it's got a float on the bottom, and it works great in direct sunlight. With this fountain comes some plastic spacers. What this does is make sure that the fountain stays in the center of the pot. Once you got it marked, you can go ahead and just trim it with a pair of scissors. Put some nice, clear water inside. Go ahead and place the fountain inside. Once the direct sunlight hits it, voila!
Grab a few terracotta pots and saucers. Start by applying clear spray sealant to the 14-inch saucer on both sides. You'll apply 2 coats and let it dry. Then drill a hole into the bottom of the 7-inch saucer and the 6-inch pot. Use a round file to file 4 notches in the lip of the 6-inch pot, then file 4 notches in the lip of one of the 5-inch saucers and 1 notch in the lip of the 7-inch saucer. Place the fountain pump on the 14-inch saucer and place the 6-inch pot upside down over it to cover, making sure the cord runs through one of the openings. Slide the fountain tubing up through the hole and set it on top of the pot and seal with the silicone sealer. Let dry overnight. Take the 5-inch saucer with the 4 notches and place it upside down on top of the tubing to cover. Turn the 4-inch pot upside down and place it next to the 6-inch pot. Notch the second 5-inch saucer and place it on top of the 4-inch pot. Place the third 5-inch saucer upside down next to the 4-inch pot. Notch the fourth 5-inch saucer and place it on top. Fill the 14-inch saucer with water, plug in the fountain, and turn it on.
You are going to run for the plant pot shelves when you see how enchanting this idea turned out. I'm stuffing some paper inside a medium pot to catch any potential drips. I'm applying silicone to the bottom of the plant pot along all the holes. The bottom tray is being siliconed, then pressed back onto the bottom of the pot until it clicks into place. The silicone is also being applied to any inside holes. I'm applying hot glue to the bottoms of both the small and medium pots, then holding them together until the glue sets. Container garden soil is being added. Flowers are being planted into the soil. The empty top bucket is getting filled up with water. I'm opening up a solar water fountain, which will be the key element to this feature.
I grabbed 2 flower pots of different sizes from Dollar Tree. I used 150 grit sandpaper to lightly scuff up the surface. Then I applied silicone to a plastic lid and attached it to the bottom of the smaller pot. I siliconed all the way around the lid edge to create a waterproof seal. While it was drying, I grabbed some Rust-Oleum stone textured spray paint. I spray painted the outside of both pots and around the inside edge and let it dry overnight. After the spray paint dried, I mixed ready-mix concrete in a separate bucket, following the directions on the bag. I carefully placed the wet concrete in the larger bucket. I placed a large rock in the middle to help take up space. The concrete filled the bucket about 1/3 full. I used a scrap piece of 2x4 to tamper down the concrete to get rid of any bubbles and smooth it all out. After the concrete dried, I placed a plastic container in the middle so the smaller pot would sit higher up. I grabbed some garden bed pots from the recycling and used them to fill out the space and added river rock to cover the recycling. I washed another handful of river rock, placed them inside the small pot, and filled it with water. Lastly, I added this solar fountain, and it was a sunny day, so it started working immediately.
I headed over to my local Home Depot and grabbed a water spigot that goes on the outside of your house. Want to make sure that the flow of the water goes straight down. We're going to grab a 2-foot long, 1/2-inch acrylic pipe. Next, we're going to take a drill, and we've got to drill about 6 to 8 holes around the edges. Drill all the way around and about a 1/2 inch away from the top of the hose. Once we get all the holes drilled, we want to make sure that it's going to fit inside the spigot. We're going to grab some 2-part epoxy. Then what you're going to do is put it on the end of the tube. Do not cover the holes. That's important. Go ahead and grab your spigot and stick it inside where the water comes out. Once the glue dries, it's on there and it's solid. Now, the water fountain, make sure it has a good seal. Take some plumber's tape, wrap it around, make sure it fits on the tube. If it's a little too loose, add some more. If it's too tight, take some off. Next, I grabbed a planter and put it up by the front door. Put some bricks in the bottom because I don't want the pump on the very bottom of the planter. Next, I need to drill a hole on the side of the bucket where the plug can go through. Then before we put the fountain in, put it on a medium setting and go ahead and place it inside. Use 2 bricks to kind of snug it on there and then another 2 to hold it in place. Next, take the plug, put it through the hole that we drilled, pull it all the way through because we're going to grab some clear silicone. This is going to seal the hole so that no water can get out. I went ahead and sprayed it with some black paint afterwards just so it'll blend in. Put the rock in. Use some river rock if you can, and once you got it all in there, you're going to put some water in.
So for the first step, go ahead and spray paint the planters. You'll need marine epoxy and protective gloves to seal all of the holes in your large planter and let it all dry according to the directions. Next, you're going to need some plastic tubing to drill holes in the small and medium planter only. The largest saucer should have the hole in the middle as well as smaller drainage holes all over the surface. Take your plastic tubing and put it on the top of your fountain pump. Place the pump at the bottom of your planter. Then feed the tubing up through the hole in the large saucer and place that saucer on top. Continue feeding the tubing through the medium planter. Next, add the medium saucer, then the small planter, and finally the small saucer. Cut the excess plastic tubing with sharp scissors. I went ahead and prepped this piece. The next step is to take the metal file and make long, deep gouges along the entire length of the PVC. And you can see the wood grain detail here. Go about 5 inches down from the top and make a mark, and then turn your PVC about a quarter turn. Go another 5 inches down from that and make another mark. Continue doing this all the way down to the bottom of the PVC. Take your drill and you're going to drill at each of those holes all the way down. As you can see, every 5 inches, every corner turn, I've got a hole. Get some stain on your fingers and you're going to rub the stain into all of the scratches and grooves on here. Once you've got the stain on, take your paper towel and you're going to lightly rub the excess. And as you wipe off, you're leaving a lighter tint on top. You're leaving the darker stain in the grooves and scratches, and it really brings out this wood detail. Take the PVC, put it in the very middle of your drip tray, and draw around the PVC so you make a circle. This is going to give us a template to cut out where the PVC is going to fit in. I'll use a box cutter and I'll cut that circle out. So here's what the drip tray is going to look like after you've cut out the circle. We're also going to use the box cutter to make slices in the small cups. So you're going to start with the bottom, you're going to poke through and make several slices in the bottom. Then you're also going to do some triangular cuts along all sides. So here's what a finished one will look like. This is going to help hold the cup inside the PVC, and it's also going to provide some great drainage. So take your larger drill bit and you're going to put a hole right in the middle here. Then you're going to take your smaller drill bit and you're going to drill holes all over the surface. This is going to allow the drainage of the water. Take your coupling and your super glue and the 2-inch test cap. You're going to glue this right down into the middle of the test cap. Now this is going to help water from coming up and out of the top of the piece. This is a 4-inch plastic Christmas ornament, and you're going to glue that to the top with the super glue as well. Now once the glue is fully dried, you can spray paint the entire piece. Work your adapter onto the end of your tubing. Okay, let's put this project together. So the first step is to take your plastic tubing and you're going to feed it down through the top of your PVC. You're going to pull it down all the way to the bottom hole that you drilled. Then stick it in the planter, and then take your pond pump and you're going to connect your pond pump to the adapter at the bottom of your tubing. So I've attached the adapter to the top of the pond pump, and I've also angled the pond pump so that way the top goes inside this PVC hole. So that way the tubing won't get any kinks as it goes up the PVC. Next, take your box cutter and cut the excess tubing from the top. Then take the 4-inch test cap and run the tubing through that middle hole. And then fit the test cap down into the PVC. Then take your drip tray, fit it over the top, and run it all the way back down to the bottom. And take your finial, and that should fit nicely on top. Your cups can then fit into the holes. Now if you have small plants that don't weigh a lot, you can leave these like this, but if you've got heavier plants that you need these angled just a little bit, you can bend the cups and they'll pop nicely inside so you've got a little bit more of an angle. So that way the plants can grow up and out. Okay, let's add some water and I'll show you how this works. As you can see, the water travels up the tubing and rains down into the PVC through all of these smaller holes. Don't glue down the test cap or finial so you can remove them later and clean inside if needed. Once the water gets to the bottom, the pump will cycle it back up to the top for continuous watering.